So we're going to do something called multi-views, and whenever you draw, back when they used to draw 3D objects on two-dimensional paper, they needed a way to show you all the sides of an object. Okay, think of a cube. A cube has 6 sides. Well, what does each of those 6 sides look like? Well, one thing you could do is you could use to put this into like a little imaginary clear box, and then project all the planes them all into one base. That's the front. You can see these are coming out. This is the side. I used to have an old handout that we used to do. Yeah. Oh well. The top view. I know this is like riveting. It's almost done. So see how you project, even though they're on different heights, you project them all flat. And then that's kind of what it looks like. And then you break it all up so that they line up with one another, like that. Okay? Notice that everything lines up with each other. Okay, it's a very important thing, even on the side. So, if you look at that handout you got, these views have different labels. Okay? So here's the part, it's a little step block, and we're a little guy or girl standing in front of it, looking at it, facing it. This view here is called the front view. Okay, go ahead and write that down. So that's the front view. Yeah, got it right. So that's the front view. Now directly above the front view is the top view. Okay, so here's the front. We're standing in front of it. Now we're looking down the top. Now the front view, like how do you know which view is the front view? Because you could turn it any way you want. Typically you choose the side that's the biggest and shows the overall profile. So see how this one kind of shows the overall step shape? That's how we choose the front. And then from there, the top always goes above the front. Okay, remember that. Top always goes above the front. The right side is always to the right of the front. Okay, which obviously means then the left side's on the other side. The bottom is below the front. And then this last view here is called the rear. So those are the 6 sides. Front, top, right side, bottom, left, rear. Now if you look at this thing over here in the corner, that's called the isometric. Okay, so whenever you see this kind of view, that's the isometric. Now when we did this by hand on the drafting tables, old school style, it would take a long time to draw all 6 of these. And if I'm paying you by the hour, time's money. So what they realized is, we don't really need all 6. We could probably get away with 3 of them. Because look, the bottom is very similar to the top, except there's a hidden line in it. The right side is very similar to the left side, except there's a hidden line in it. And the rear is very similar to the front. So if we just do the top, front, and right side, that's all we really need to figure out what this looks like. Okay? So that's kind of why the second sheet, you only see those 3 drawings. Okay? So this is called multi-view drawing, or if you want to get fancy, orthographic projections. Yeah, orthographic projections. Multi-view drawing, sometimes they call it, sometimes they just call it 3-view drawings. So we're going to do one. Well, here we go. Notice that this is, what view is this? Just shout it out. Top. This one is front, and this one is the right side. I thought I was going to sneeze. When you do them, everything needs to line up with one another. So look at this. If I were to drop lines down, notice that This view lines up with that view. Right? This edge lines up with the edge over here. And all this stuff lines up. Same thing side to side. This lines up. That piece lines up. Even the top here lines up. So, what you'd want to do is maybe start drawing the top 3.5 over, and then we're going to go down. I'm going to do each little piece individually, so I'm going to do like the 0.8, and then the 0.5, and then the 0.7, and then I'll go back over 3.5 and close it, and then I'll have that little hole there. I don't need that anymore. I can delete that out. Okay, now look at this. This curved line here, this angled, it's an inch over, but how far is this side over? What's it line up with? It's not the midpoint. It's a good guess. Look at this dimension right here, 2 inches. So if we offset 1 inch, and then we offset 2 inches, just connect the dots. Draw a line from the 1 inch to the 2 inch, and then we can delete them out. There we go. Now, these lines, well, they just come straight over until they hit that. So, draw lines straight over until they hit that. Okay? Then we're going to put 1 inch in between them. We'll go back and do the hidden lines later. So we go down an inch. The height is 1.5. So let's go. Actually, I'm going to go across first. So how far over do we go? Well, the first dimension is what? Do you see it on your sheet? What is it? 2. And we're going to go down, what? 0.5. Now I need to go over the rest of the way. Well, the whole thing is 3.5 minus the 2 that we already went gives us what left over? 1.5. See how you got to do some basic math here? And then we're going to come down. Well, the whole thing is 1.5 tall, but we already went 1/2 down. So what's left? 1. And then go back the whole way over, which we said was 3.5. Go back to the top. Delete that little space line out there. All right, so here's the beginning. Now, this line comes over how far? Well, we don't know, but look what it lines up with. The 1 inch. See how that works? So, a couple of things I could do. I'm going to come down and drop a line down. Just go past it. Draw a line like that. And then trim it. See how that lined up and did that? What about this little notch right here? Well, guess where the sides line up with? Boom. There. And there. So, drop lines down from this corner and that corner. Now let's start drawing the sides. So again, we're going to go 1 inch over. We're going to go up how far? How tall is the whole thing? 1.5. Now here's where it gets tricky. We need to find the distance of this line. Well, this is pretty much this. So you take this and turn it on its side. Like if I draw lines over, you draw this and then they go down. You draw this over and go down, and this becomes this. So it's 0.7 is the first part, and then 0.5, and then 0.8. Okay, so we're going to go over, and people get this backwards sometimes, so be careful. 0.7, 0.5, 0.8, then we go down the height, which we said was 1.5, and then I'm going to go backwards. Now here you got to go 0.8, 0.5, whoop, 0.5, oh, Finish that off. Delete the little spacer. Now, I know where this line is and this line is, but I don't know how tall it is. Well, right here, this dimension says from bottom to top, it's 1.2. So I can draw a line from where that little endpoint is, that square, and go up my distance. 1.2. The gap was 0.5. And go down. All right, we're getting there. This line here, it lines up with that top. So, line. Now what's cool is you can actually hover over this square and kind of move your mouse with that guideline. And then when you hit here, click across. You can trim it out. Okay. Now, we need the top of this little slot right here. Where does that line up with? Okay, so draw a line over. Now again, you could do that guide thing and you could guide it the whole way over, or you could just draw a line and then maybe click on the other dot and snap it like that. That's the fast way to do it. Or you could always do the trim and trim your way back over. Trim the top there. Delete the guidelines. Alright, what are we missing? The hidden lines. Okay, easy enough. We go to the by layer, other, load. Let's use the hidden too because we're using a small sheet of paper. Hit OK. Hit OK. Select the hidden to. And where does it go? It goes with the bottom of that slot there. So we're going to go straight down. And for this one, we'll go up past it, run into it. Now look what I did right there. You see that mistake? Do you see what happened? Watch. What's getting in my way? That midpoint. So you gotta make sure, sometimes it's better just to go past it so like some of those object snaps don't get in the way. Alright, let's trim it. Enter, trim, trim. And there's the view. Copy and paste your title block over. Double click on the title to change the title. Print it out 1-to-1.